Hello, and welcome to another installation of the Chancellor's Committee on the Status of Blacks at UIC's Hotline Show. Remember, this is a live call-in show. My name is Tarri Strickland, and I will be your host today, where we have some great topics of discussion and a great guest. Rob Moyer will be talking to us a little bit about youth development and some great opportunities to get involved with some non-for-profit work here in the Chicagoland area. So I want to welcome Rod.
Thank you so much, Tarri, for having me.
Yay! See, I'm so excited. You guys don't even know because I've actually had the opportunity of working with Rod at UIC on a few programs. He's been a great help to us, whether it was with the Urban Health Program and offering opportunities for young people, high school students to come on campus and just get submerged into what it means to be a health professional student, in addition to many of our just merging folks that are interested in our liberal arts and science majors, our traditional areas. He's been able to bring those students on the campus in order for them to get a little bit of enrichment workshops and then really get a sense of who the faculty, staff, and students are on campus. So I'm so happy that he's here to share a little bit more about what his background is, how he got here, and how we can successfully get our students through this pipeline to higher education.
Thank you. And I want to thank all the viewers and anyone who is listening online. We appreciate you taking your time to listen to us talk about what we're passionate about, and that's helping the youth, helping our community in the areas of success, in the areas of urban healthcare. Very exciting to be here. We appreciate everyone who's listening at home or wherever you are. A little bit about my background. I came from Kankakee, Illinois. That's where I grew up. Single mother, no father. And went on to college at Northern Illinois University. Now, interesting story. I know UIC has a phenomenal chance program that's been here for over 10 years. I was actually kicked out of high school during my senior year. And then I was kicked out of summer school the summer after I was kicked out of high school. Okay. So I finished my high school diploma at an alternative school. And
I want to back up a little bit because you just kind of threw that out there. Yeah, I went to high school and I was kicked out. So remember, this is a live call-in show. So many of our callers are high schoolers that may be going through the same thing.
Yes.
What was going on in high school? Was it a grade situation?
Well, the grades were horrible. I finished with a 1.2 GPA.
Okay.
But, you know, it wasn't that I wasn't intelligent. I didn't go to class. I didn't study. I didn't do homework, and I didn't listen to my teacher. So typically that's a recipe that's going to yield, not good grades. So the choices were poor, but it wasn't a situation of myself. I wasn't engaged. I remember, I had counselors that would tell me, you can't go to college. And, I knew that you weren't supposed to tell a young person that. Now, in fairness, I wasn't listening to anything that they were telling me. But it was really a situation where it was just, I felt it was kind of I had adversaries in many of the teachers, much of the administration, versus individuals that were there for me. And as an adult, I can, definitely accept responsibility for decisions I made that maybe made that situation, to some respect, be what it is. But I finished at an alternative school, and the experience there, though, it really, for me at the time, cemented my feeling about the school, because the coursework that we were doing in this alternative school, for me to get my high school diploma, was like 5 + 5. And I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that was actually the work that I was in there doing, 5+. I mean, literally that. And I'm thinking, what a joke, what a waste of time. But that was really my thought of much of the entire school process. Nonetheless, I did finish, and I remember the day that I walked out of the alternative school. I never thought about college before, but I walked out, had a very simple thought. I said, you know what, I want to make a lot of money. And I said,
that's a thought that many of us have.
In order to make a lot of money, I have to get a job that's going to pay me a lot of money. And in order to get that job, I have to go to college. So therefore, I want to go to college. And that was the entire scope of my college thoughts. So finishing with a 1.2 GPA, which was very low as well. However, I did take the ACT, and I got a 19 on the ACT. I looked at a variety of schools, and there was a university that had a chance program, and it had 2 criteria. The first criteria was that you do not qualify. I'm like, well, I qualify because I meet that criteria because I don't qualify by traditional standards. And the second one was you show a desire and an ability and wanting to succeed. And I said, listen, nobody shows more of that desire than me. I've been working 50, 60 hours a week in the restaurants. I was involved in the community. I said, they have to let me in, because if they don't let me in, this program doesn't work, because based on their criteria, I am the perfect candidate. And they didn't let me in, Tarri. They denied me multiple occasions, but I would not be deterred, because at the time there was no other university that I found that had a chance program for a student like me, and I needed a chance. So it's very interesting. I actually drove to this university, met with the director, showed up in his office, and long story short, I made it happen and got into college, and really succeeded upon arrival. Got scholarships, got tuition waivers for my extensive involvement. But that's just a little bit about my background and where I came from prior to attending college.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm so glad that Rod shared his true mindset, because he is now a professional helping young people like that, helping young people to make these decisions and to refer them to opportunities, whether it's at UIC, whether it's at Northern, whether it's at our home school, Urbana. It's not your last chance. I want to say it's not your last chance just because a student advisor told you guys, hey, this is not for you, college. It is not your last chance because you were putting in your application for one school and you got that denial letter once. Many of our students, I want to tell you guys, my callers, many of our students do not get in the first round. And so we want to make sure that you feel just self-determination, because that's what it's all about. You're going to get some slam doors, you're going to get some no's, but it's all about who are you and what is that goal in mind? What's the end game? Really, what's that mindset that you want to get into in order to make sure that you're going to be a successful professional? Because we're not in the business just about bringing you guys onto campus and into the university setting. Again, it's about building up you all as professionals so that you can give back to whatever community that is. That is the Chicagoland community, that is the national community, because there's just so much hard work that is being done in our community. I want to remind you guys that this is a live call-in show, so please call us at 312-738-1060 for your questions and maybe even concerns about students entering into youth development programs, in addition to just programs in general for success with college. And so, Rod, you talked a bit about your background. Where are you now?
I've made it. I'm here with you, Tarri. No, in all seriousness,
what are you doing?
I've had the pleasure and the privilege to work with youth and young people all around America over the past decade. I started a non-for-profit organization, and really, and even prior to that, I've been traveling the country as a sales professional, as a sales trainer, and really found my way one day through a colleague that Algernoy Alexander. He's the executive director of Wise Works Incorporated. He was working with some youth in the Austin community through Mayor Daley's Kid Start program, and he had me come out to facilitate a session. And prior to that, I had never done anything with youth, but I really thought about it. I said, wow, with my background, I have great perspective, great relatability, and I had been traveling as a trainer, as a speaker, whether, small groups or, thousands of people in a convention hall. I said, you know what, this is something that I want to do. It's fun. I love it. And the youth and the young people need it, because you brought up a great point. There is nothing that anyone cannot do. The only thing that people cannot do is what they feel that they cannot do. The mindset, the limitations of their feelings, and whether it's overcoming the adversity of bad grades, whether it's challenges at home, whether it's a lack of belief in oneself, whatever the challenge is, the bottom line is everyone has the ability to make choices to move beyond where they currently may be, and getting beyond where they may be will allow them to do the things that they want to do. And I noticed Veriana is very effective and successful at really taking the mind of a young person from where it is to where it needed to be, so that they could start to really see different elements of change, of success. And one of the, over the last decade, one of the staple points of feedback that we get from youth that we work with is, you know what, for the first time in my life, I can actually see myself succeeding. And
tell me about the age range of these youth then that are making statements like this?
Typically high school and college age.
Wow.
High school and college age youth. Although I do a variety of things with adults and some things prior to that. That's probably 90 to 95%. And what that means is that before that they really didn't believe that they could be successful. They didn't believe in it, and it's so important because you can tell. I kind of equate it to martial arts, and that's one of the reasons that the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense system is so successful in terms of dealing with and preventing bullying. Bullies pick on the easy target. Bullies don't go to the tough, confident person. They pick on the person that they know is going to be an easy target. And, if you tell someone who has no physical background, no training, you know what, if someone comes and gets into your face, just punch them.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
It's not as easy as you sound because you don't have that belief that, well, hold on, if I punch this person, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get my face knocked in. I'm going to get myself hurt. And I say that to say that you can tell somebody a technique that has the ability to be successful, but there's something attached to that. And that is that you have to have the belief that it actually can be successful. And without that, you're kind of, keeping yourself in a box that you're not going to get out of. So with the young person understanding I can be successful, now the tutoring makes a little bit more sense. Now the people saying, listen, you can go to college, you can do this, you can do that, it makes a little more sense because before it's information that sounds good, but you know what? I know that I'm not going to do that because I really don't believe that there's a path for me. And that's how so many people feel based on the experiences, based on whether it's the abuse that they've been experiencing for their entire lives, the lack of resources, so on and so forth. So that is consistently across the board one of the over the years one of the constant points of feedback that we get.
Great. It looks like we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Good evening. Let me say, first of all, I'm a student. I got some mileage behind me. I have had a good experience at UIC. I was even a student at UIC, and they was trying to help me. I'm a person with a disability, and you was talking about bullies. Let me hip you with something, okay? They even got some, and I don't want to be slamming the City College of Chicago. They even have some bullies at the City College of Chicago. Instead of trying to help their students like they do at UIC, they have all different types of ways to help you. If you have a professor that's not helping you, not following your accommodation letter, guess what? They go in front of the board. And they have to deal with certain things. They have all the different types of, in terms of resources that can help the person. They meet them where they're at, and they build them up to the standard where they need to be at. And I've had a good experience at UIC.
Thank you so much, caller. I really appreciate you for saying that about building up the student, because that's exactly where Rod is going with this. It's all about building up students, building up those guys to make sure that they feel as if I can be successful. What are some of those critical success factors that you've been working with your organization? Like, what are 5 or 3 things that your organization does to ensure success with those students?
First and most important, and caller, thank you so much. You bring up such a great point. And point number 1 is how you think. The beautiful thing about how you think is that you are in complete control of how you decide to think. You have complete control of that, and how you think is going to determine anything. How you think is going to determine how you react when that door comes up and that door is slammed in your face. Some people, if you may think, oh, the door is in my face, I can't do anything. Well, that's a choice. So some people may think, well, I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. How can I go up? Well, maybe I need to dig down. I'll give you an example. There was a young go through, break it down, whatever. But that's a mentality. There was a young man. I do a lot of work with the University of Illinois Chicago Chance Program. They have one of the best STEM camps in America. They actually pay youth and young people from the city of Chicago to attend this 6-week camp over the summer. And there was a young man who I was working with through a different organization here at UIC, and he was made aware of the STEM camp, and he was like, you know what? I called and I asked about it, and they said no one else can get in. So when he heard that, what he heard is that I can't go to the STEM camp. See, that's not what Rod Moyer
Right, that's not what I heard.
What I would have heard. So in other words, I said, well, listen, you can still go up to the office. You can still fill out an application. You can still, on day 1 of the STEM camp, show up and come and say, you know what, I'm here just in case.
Yes.
There happens to be an additional space. And when individuals who are in charge of organizations see that, they see that drive, they see that success, they see that that fire to succeed that nothing can stop us. Wow, well, you know what? We need you in this camp. But again, number one is how you think. Most important thing.
Yep.
Number two, you have to have a work ethic. You have to be willing to put work into anything. And growing and getting better, I equate it to working out. You know, if I want to bench press 200 pounds, and today I can only bench press 100 pounds, one session in the gym is not going to change that. I can go have a great session. I can work with the best trainer in the world. But if that's all that I do, I'm not going to bench press 200 pounds. But if I consistently, over and over, day after day, week after week, work on it, I can gain that physical muscle. And developing mental muscle, aka personal growth, is the same thing. It's about what you read every day. It's about the things that you hear, the things that you listen to. What are you doing to make yourself a better thinker? What are you doing to make yourself better? Because it's you being better that's going to allow you to achieve more. That's going to allow you to do better. But the biggest thing is, again, it's a choice. Everyone has 100% control as to how they want to approach and apply those things. And the third thing that I'll say, and there's not just three, but you definitely have to have fun. You definitely have to be at a place where you can enjoy yourself. Tarri, if anyone knows about having fun, it's you. You always have a smile on your face 100% of the time. You've got to enjoy yourself because, you know, it's one of those situations where if you're not enjoying yourself, if you don't enjoy, you know, what you're doing, you're going to lose motivation. But then again, it depends on how you want to look at it, because Michael Jordan, when he looked at a 4-hour crazy practice, that excited him. He said, you know what, I'm going to enjoy that because this is what's going to bring me those 6 rings, right? This is what's going to make me better, versus some people like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's a choice to choose to enjoy things that you may not like, but you know the result of that is going to take you where you want to be. So again, the most important thing, though, about those things, it's 100% of your control.
It really is. You really make your experience, callers, listeners, those out there. You make your experience in any of those instances, whether it is you applying to our programs or if it is just you in your everyday life trying to figure out what career goals, what is your major going to be, heck, what you're going to eat for dinner. Like all those things you really have to think about. This is the position I want to put myself in. And as Rod said, that third piece, most of what we need from you guys is just showing up. We just want you to show up. So you will not just be an application. You will not just be a number. If you come and just show up and show that department or that unit what you are, what you're about, and your true interest and desire in that healthcare career or that law school, whatever it may be of your interests, hey, there's going to be support there for you. Just show up.
Don't just show up, though. Show up ready to win. Show up ready to take what you want, because a lot of people are going to show up. But if they're only going to select a couple people out of everyone that's showing up, how are you showing up in a way that they're going to select you? So are you showing up a little bit cleaner than everyone else? Are you showing up with a resume and a cover letter? Are you showing up understanding things about the organization that you're showing up to because you've gone online to research and look them up and find out about the leaders and the people that are in charge? So I could go on and on and on and on and on. That's how I always thought. I had over 100 interviews when I was an undergraduate in college, over 100 first interviews, 22nd interviews. I had 1 to 3 offers for internships every single semester. And I really approached, number one, that was my working out. I got really great at interviewing because I did it so much, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. But what is everyone not doing? And I wanted to do everything that every other candidate was not doing because I wanted it to be clear to that potential employer that, you know what, this guy right here, this is the one that we need. So show up in a way that's going to position you. However, if you're not showing up, absolutely, that is step number one. And Tarri, I know that you've mentioned the beautiful thing is, you know, show up who you are and as you are. And one of the great things about CCSB and the work that you do for the people that do show up here, you actually help and support, take them from where they are to where they need to be in every area. So if you're not as well-rounded and as refined as you'd like to be, that doesn't mean don't show up. That's one of the great opportunities to show up with a wonderful leader such as Ms. Tarri Strickland and the Chancellor's Committee for the Status of Blacks, great agencies here at the University of Illinois at Chicago. They will help walk you through that process.
I'm so glad you said that because a lot of our listeners, they probably feel as if, oh, well, I'm not that person yet. Now what do I do? What's going on? Is there going to be someone to support me? Like, that is great to hear that there's people in the community and there's people at the university levels that are here to support you guys. Whether you are, one, I want to remind you, a career changer even. So we're talking about youth and youth development, but for those folks that are career changers, you're 21, you're 22, and you're still thinking about a career or careers in which you need to come to the university to make it to the next level, we want to talk to you. We want you to come over to the university and have those candid conversations with us on how to ensure your success. Okay? So I want to talk to Rod a little bit about next steps. What can our viewers be involved in the Chicagoland community? Are there some events? Is there a particular program that you are doing?
Well, I appreciate you asking it. And generally, of course, there's countless events. Go online, go to Google. There are countless events every day, all over the place, anywhere that you can position yourself to learn and take advantage of. My agency, Effective Youth Development, very pleased, we founded the Leadership Jitsu Academy. And Leadership Jitsu, it's a 12-week Common Core, literacy-based student development curriculum that takes any young person and best prepares them to be best prepared to compete against the best candidates for the best positions, the best companies in America and beyond. So, for example, I just want you to imagine if there's two people left in a job race. It's person A and Tarri Strickland, right? I'm sure that you would agree it's a different beast or a different animal to compete against you, right? And see, so the Leadership Jitsu, it's a belted system. Everyone starts out as a white belt. They can earn their way up. Blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. So
okay, that's
black
awesome.
belts are best prepared to compete against anyone. We have a variation, the Leadership Jitsu Re-Entry Club. That is a modified variation of applicable Leadership Jitsu techniques that's designed to help uplift incarcerated young men and women to be best prepared, to have the abilities necessary to re-enter society successfully, to create success. We actually just finished our first cycle of the Leadership Jitsu Reentry Club. We've got a facility here in Chicago, partnership with the State of Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice. Actually coming from a meeting today with juvenile justice leaders. There's many promising components of that are moving forward. A lot of the information about the programming that we do is on my non-for-profit's website, which is effectiveyouthdevelopment.com. And anyone can go there and take a look at the different programs and the different things that we do and that we take advantage of. And, you know, you speak about what is it that people can do. A couple of other things that I did, Tarri, you know, I wanted to get the information, you know, because there might be something in the information there that I need. When I was a college student, I would walk around. You know how many buildings are on campus? They're everywhere. I would just go into buildings, into different floors, and just go into the office and say, excuse me, hi, what do you guys do here? I would literally go just throughout my time because I wanted to know.
Yes.
What if there's something there that I want? If I don't go there, so it's not always going to be put in your lap. But that was my thinking. That there may be something there, even if I don't know what it is or where it is. I'm going to position myself to find it, and that's actually how I obtained an international marketing internship. Worked in Korea, stayed in Seoul, traveled across the country with the Daewoo company, and that opportunity though came to me through doing that. But that was my choice to think like that. So when you talk about events, you got to be curious. Put yourself in a position to get the information. It's not always just going to show up on your doorstep. You have to. So there's and today it's so easy with the internet. But get out there, make calls, look online, and make things happen. And don't be scared. You know, don't be scared to fail. Failure. Michael Jordan's the biggest failure in the NBA. Nobody in the history of the National Basketball Association has missed more shots than Michael Jordan. Not one person. In the NFL, Brett Favre. No one has ever thrown more interceptions. This is Brett Favre. So these are the two biggest stars that have failed the most, because it's not whether you fail, it's how you look at failure. There's a book called Failing Forward, I believe by John Maxwell. And the idea of that book is the difference between people who are very successful and people who are not. It's how they look at failure. One segment of people looks at failure like, oh man, this happened to me. And then another says, wow, well, you know what, this happened, but let me look back and see, I could have done this differently. I could do that differently. I can learn these things. So don't be scared to fail. get out there, get some experiences, do some things. And effectiveyouthdevelopment.com is a website that will give you a lot of information about what we're doing as well.
Thank you so much, Rod. This was a really great show. Some great information for you guys about youth development. Hey, what he did and how he got there. You can do this too. You are him. Hey, guys, you can be sitting in this seat, have your own non-for-profit, be a professional, do all these great things. The world is yours.
And the world is yours. And to that last point, I wanted to give a plug to a friend of mine, Mark Cuban. He has a new app called Cyberdust. And one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make today that we don't even realize it because we're coming up in the internet age is your brand and what you put on the internet. Everything you put on the internet today is a part of your job interview.
Right.
Tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hanging out with the fellas, sipping a Bud Light, taking a picture. Nothing wrong with that. But 10 years from now, when you're interviewing,
it may come back up.
It will come back up because, listen, companies have, this is their job. People are searching and are going to find everything. And they're going to look at that picture of you holding a beer can, and they're going to use that as part of the criteria as to whether they determine or not whether to give you that opportunity. So everything that you put online, and that's a problem. I think 10 years from now, the way the internet's going, it's going to be more footprintless. In other words, everything that you put on is not going to stay. Be careful what you put online. And Cyberdust is an app that Mark Cuban, everyone knows him from Shark Tank, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. When you send a text message, 30 seconds after the person sees it, it's gone. It automatically is gone. And again, I'm talking future because 10 years from now, this is going to be more common. Right now, that's not the case, but be careful. Everything you put online, it's a big hindrance.
Yes, it is. I'm so glad that he mentioned that. So we want you to see us next week. We want to thank you again. This is a great live-in call-in show for you guys. See you again next week, same time.
Thank you.